Hi guys, Neil Jepson here. I'm glad to be able to spend a couple minutes with you. If you make it all the way through the training at the very end, there's a little blooper that is a little embarrassing for me, but it was worth the laugh. In 2023, Chad Webb, our administrator and a member of the Board of Education, gave us some instruction on how we can help our students develop a habit of daily scripture study. We've talked about this lots of times, but I want to remind you exactly what he said.
Seminary students will be required to read selected passages from the book of Scripture in each term.
You've known about these, of course. I'm inviting you to display them somewhere in your classroom so that your students can remember exactly what's required of them. Now listen to these next couple words from Chad Webb, a member of the Board of Education, delivering the message of President Nelson and everybody else who's on that board. Listen closely. These come directly from President Nelson as the chair of church education.
They will then be asked to set an additional intrinsically motivated personal reading goal with high expectations for upward growth. These personal goals should reflect a student's abilities and acknowledge individual effort and progress. Teachers will also encourage students to track their progress of their individual goals and encourage them to follow through. They will encourage students to read the assigned scripture passages for the Come Follow Me in Seminary Week, either individually or with their families. They also encourage students to consistently study the Book of Mormon, individually or with their families.
Please don't let those requests stress you out or overwhelm you. Just encourage our students to study the scriptures in natural, normal ways periodically. The next clip I'm about to show you is President Eyring asking you to develop a personal ministry between you and your students to help them be daily scripture studiers.
Now, I would like to share with you something that President Henry B. Eyring said when this change was discussed. He said, "To do this well will require more personal individual attention from teachers. It will add a burden, but it is a burden teachers should be glad to carry, because their personal ministries are as important as their classroom instruction. If anyone can do it, your teachers can. They are wonderful." I agree with President Eyring, you are wonderful. I also realize that a movement away from rigid standards to individual goals will require more time and attention from you. But what could we do that would bless our students more than to help them create a personal daily habit of scripture study that is motivated by the right reasons?
Our personal ministry is to help our young people develop a habit of daily scripture study. Please make this happen in your seminary classroom. We have suggested that the best way to do this is for one of you to step out in the hall in a casual way and just have a quick conversation with them. And if you're out in the open and you're just chatting with them casually, only for a minute or two, this is perfectly appropriate. We've provided tools like this and others that will help you have these discussions with your students. But no matter how you do it, it will be blessing individuals. Thank you, sisters and brothers, for all of your efforts. I agree with Chad Webb and I agree with President Eyring. You are wonderful. Thank you for your commitment. Stay around for a second or two to see kind of a weird little blooper. These personal interviews that we've suggested. In fact, the next clip I'm about to say, did you see that bubble?
Interviews that we've suggested. In fact, the next...
That literally just snuck out of my mouth.